I have a
What's
guest
up, fucker?
today.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah. You have a what's that? A boom kitten hanging out
There's
by
a
the
one-eyed cat.
microphone boom. Yeah.
The boom
Oh,
Yep.
one-eyed cat. What'd you do with the other eye?
We got him like this.
I hope
His
so.
the bone on his eye here never grew in,
Oh, interesting.
so it's just real squinty and waters a lot. I
Yeah.
don't think you can really see
Yeah.
out of it, but it's still there. It's just like if you can feel his eyeball all the way up to like here.
Weird. So
Yeah,
it's
you
just
can-
like
you
there,
can-
but it's just not. There's not like a socket to hold it in place.
No, it's just skin and fur. There's no bone above his eye. You can feel more than 50% of his eye.
Wow.
So the eye bone's connected to the fucking nothing.
Yeah.
No bones.
Yep.
Hmm.
He's nice
Oh,
though.
fun shit.
We had to take a horse's eye out, or my horse's eye out. I had my retired jumper was like living in a field forever, and he developed this like weird ulcer on his eye. And they're like, it's not really cancer; it's just old animal shenanigans.
Yeah.
So I was like, they were so funny. They were like, well, if you want to put him down, we'll understand. I'm like, well, God, how much is it? And they're like, oh, it's like $400. I was like, okay. So they took his eye out, and he lived another like 3 years, totally happy.
Nice, that ain't
Yeah.
bad.
I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it was really. They did it
I've
in the
known
field.
plenty of-
It's like
plenty of large livestock that have lost an eye or gone completely blind and still been fine for multiple years. You know,
fine. Yeah,
once you get to a
I mean,
certain
especially a
size, where you're not
grazer, you just wander around to eat grass.
and he was
if you're
out there
not a
with
big
friends.
prey
You know,
species, if there's not really bigger things than you that are going to kill and eat you all the time, it's pretty easy for you to survive and be okay without being able to see when your main job is eating green things that you can feel with your
standing here
face.
eating. Yeah, and he was out in a pasture with like a herd, so it's not like he was out there by himself freaking out. So he's totally fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for some reason, the way you said that, I totally heard that in like that the whole Smucker's commercial type of thing. Like your vet was like, "Well, if it's not cancer, it's got to be good."
It's got to be fine. Yeah, I will not ever retire a horse like that again. That was awful. It cost me so much money. Like,
No, I'm on the fence with that when it comes to horses, dogs, anything like that. It's like I would break my heart to do it, but I'm to the point where I will take them out into the woods and put a bullet in them myself because
that's where I was. Like, he got to a point.
Honestly,
they
for
were
the people who are involved, like when you actually euthanize them, for the people who are involved and the animal, it's so fucking traumatic because they know something's wrong. They know they feel it. They're aware you're upset because you know what's coming. And it's this long, slow process. And it's like the whole, if they just drift to sleep type thing. Yeah, they just drift to sleep knowing you're in distress the entire time. And everybody's just like slow mourning this horrible process. And it's like one person just, if they stack up and walk out into the woods and it's look at the flowers and pop, then you know, it sucks. It's hard, but it's going to be hard no matter what. So
I mean, I was really lucky because
regardless.
where mine was at a retirement farm, he had been there a while. He knew everybody. The vet would come out routinely. It wasn't anything like when we decided to make the call, it wasn't anything like traumatic. It was like, okay, this is happening with him. He's fine right now. He might not be fine in 30 days. He probably for sure isn't going to be fine in 60 days. And the vet said it's better to do it like 6 months too early than 1 day too late. And I was like, oh
damn.
Right. I was really fortunate with the one dog that it would have been probably out of all of them the hardest to deal with as far as the loss, because just that animal and the attachment went in for a surgery because they had an issue with a cyst and got in there and found that it was just extensive cancer way beyond they even knew kind of thing. It was one of those where they're like, look, it's not even ethical for her to wake her back up. It's time to go ahead and euthanize her while she's down type thing, which sucked. But at the same time, it was one of those, it ripped the Band-Aid off kind of thing. You know, you didn't have that horrible, like, oh my God, you're mourning them while they're still there type thing, which I think is just as bad on the pet as it is the people, you know. When you know ahead of time, it's like a planned death type thing. It's like, how do you even like emotionally navigate that?
No.
Most people aren't capable of it.
No, not at all.
No, I wouldn't.
Not a skill you ever want to have to develop, you know?
Yeah. I wasn't even there because he was down in Santa Barbara. I wasn't even there. Obviously, I had to deal with the logistics, and I was like a wreck for. It was like a good month that I was like, and I was still riding, so I didn't even want to look at another horse. I was like,
yeah,
not good.
No.
Nope. I'm not doing that again. I'm only gonna do like young ones from now on, and then if something happens, it would be like unexpected, catastrophic, not like an end of life. Like
I've got one charity case pasture pet that would be a good horse if I ever had the time to put the work into her, but she's never going to be, so it's okay. She could just live out her happy little life and not be Mexican steaks like she would have been if I hadn't traded her for a round bale.
That's how I ended up with my.
But
yeah, that's
what? Oh, yeah. I would never want a riding horse. I would never want like a horse that cost me a lot of money for high maintenance. Dude, it's like having the livestock equivalent of a boat. It's a giant money
exactly
pit.
what it is.
Yeah.
And that's why everybody was like, "Oh, you could have him be a companion horse."
Every horse person you know is fucking neurotic as shit. Seriously, I know a lot of horse people.
I feel like you gotta be.
They're all crazy. You have to be that committed to something that costs you that much money.
It's this very expensive thing that can also kill itself. A boat can't kill itself.
It tries to kill itself routinely in creative fucking ways that make no sense. They'll like stationary object that's never caused anything else a problem. They'll find a way to tangle themselves and choke themselves in it for no reason at all. But I'm a horse really quick.
Yeah,
it's just they're retarded. They're retarded animals.
Yeah, they're trying to commit suicide all the time.
Yeah, they're like just inadvertently suicidal constantly.
They are.
So they're like quails, but 2,000 times bigger.
That's exactly what they are. They're
2,000. If a quail could kill you in its random flailing as it tries to die, yes.
2,000 quail could.
Yeah, well.
I don't even want to think about 2,000 quails. That gives me anxiety even to think about.
They just mob you and start pecking your eyes out and shit.
Yeah,
just
but that's literally
the idea of there being like at least 1,000 male quail in one area. I think your eardrums may actually rupture and you won't be able to hear anything but the pounding in your head as your ears bleed out while they peck your eyes out.
Yeah, if they get in sync, that'd be quite amplified.
Somebody go to that little chat AI and tell it to write up a script really quick because we've got a movie now for a C movie sci-fi Attack of the Quail.
Yeah, somebody write it.
It's got to be a thing. You heard it here first.
How does one access this Chat GPT?
You just look at it's like OpenAI. You can Google Chat GPT and you take you right to it. You can do it straight on the website, and it's actually a lot more functional. I want to do more on the laptop, but I downloaded an app on my phone that'll communicate with it. And it's not as good as the desktop, but it's fun to play with, throw some shit at it. So,
well, yeah, I'm gonna see what it does for writing eBay listings for me.
I think for listings like that, for editing copy and shit like that, that's gonna be really where it shines. And like just short articles, things like that, recipes. Shit like that.
Create
anything like a blog post because it's like spell check on crack. If it had access to a whole encyclopedia, that could understand kind of what you're saying to it. It's like an intelligent Google search that will write and translate for you.
Should I make a burner email for this?
Probably.
I mean, you could. It doesn't really matter. The AI will figure it out anyway. It'll learn who you are.
That's true. Yeah, I'm going to use my Google account because it's Google anyway.
Of your rectum before you're done discussing it.
The inner pulse of my rectum.
Who knows?
It knows the period of the vibration of the inside of my butt.
It will most likely have synthesized your DNA and been creating an AI replica of you. About 3 minutes into it, it's going to download your whole TikTok profile and know everything. Oh my god!
I thought it was just a galaxy spinning around.
Right? Who knows? The last time he did this shit, he tried to. The last time he did this, what did he do? He tried to show his golf game the one time, and that was crazy. We were watching some other dude's ass the whole time. Hey, what's up, dude?
They need a phone number too. How much do they fucking want from me?
Social security number. Blood type.
All I did, I just signed in with my Google account. I've got a Google account. I'll sign in with. That's fine.
That's what I did too, but it wanted my name after I put in my Google account, and now it wants my phone number.
It wants to know who you are.
I
did not have to put in a phone number. Interesting.
Do you already? You must already have your phone number linked to your Google account somehow.
No, I don't think I did on that one. I might be wrong, but I don't believe I did on that one. So, but I originally signed in with a phone app that I was using, so a GPT chat phone app that just communicates with it. And every once in a while, it loses sync, and I have to refresh it. But it's fun to play with. It's fun to diddle with.
Yeah, I don't love it having my phone number.
In-depth discussions, like philosophical, like mind-bending discussions about what it could all mean today. That's been entertaining me as I drive.
Well, I have a crazy
windstorm. Rob's group at all? The All Around Growth podcast. I don't know if you're in his Telegram group. That's been like mind-melting discussions all day long.
I don't know if I can handle that today. It's
right.
Really there for that.
I think today it's like what I needed to like distract me from all the other literal shit going. I started the it's my birthday. I started the day going out and like working on my septic system. So I was like, happy birthday to me. Let's play in the pool.
Happy birthday. Here's some shit.
Yep, it's okay. I don't make a big deal out of it and never do. It doesn't mean anything really anymore. But I was like, well, this is if I had one wish for my birthday, it's to not have to start the day fucking around in the septic.
Not work on a septic system.
It's what I get for last week. They did Fireside Freedom and they were asking random questions. And I threw out the one of, would you rather do a scuba dive 10 minutes in a septic tank or have one finger cut off? Which would you rather do?
Take my finger.
And, this is what I get for it. My septic tank fucks up. And thankfully, I didn't have to scuba dive in it. Yet. It's not finished yet. I'm not scuba diving. I'll pay somebody else to.
Nope. Yeah, I totally agree.
If it's that bad, nope. No, just put a new one in. Dig a new hole.
Just rip it out. It's fine.
Yep.
Just kill it. Yep. Well, like people with RVs, they post these stories about all the stuff that happens with their black tank. I'm like, just have it replaced. Like, just it's a tank. Like, you'll be fine.
Just let it go.
Just let it go.
Nice. All right. If I just sign up with my email and not my Google account, I don't have to give them a phone number.
That is weird.
So it sounds like it's Google that's asking you for it, probably. Yeah. Google's probably trying to get you to update your account
information. Fuck Google. It's always trying to get my phone number. You motherfuckers already know it, I'm sure.
Look, if you want to know my phone number, fucking Google it, Google.
Yeah, I'm sure they already know it, so it pisses me off that they ask.
Oh, it's wrestling.
That's what we're doing. Confirm it, though. It's for your security. It's for your security that we know more about your shit.
Yeah, that's what they always try and tell me. That pisses me off.
You can recover your account.
So we have live wrestling from Seattle.
Apparently.
Wrestling. Right?
Is Scrambling going to wrestle? I want to see him wrestle.
I would, because I think watching a professional wrestling show would bore me to tears in about 5 minutes.
Sure. For sure.
I'd be like,
see that.
Okay, what? No, I'm bored.
Especially if I'm that far away from it. Whoa. Yeah, I want to throw him out there. Scrambling, come on.
I agree.
Go do the
coffee
slam.
Come on.
Dive in. Cage match.
Just straight up off the corner, bounce it off the ropes. I call this one the bean roaster. Bam, Oh, he says,
bear roast. Yeah.
You're about to get roasted. And now in the right corner, we have light roast.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, there we go. He said see you in the private chat.
Okay. He's like, this is annoying.
He was like, I'm tired of holding the phone. That ain't retired of us. That retired of calling him light roast. Who knows?
Well, yeah. Yeah. Well, I am. My exciting weekend was I've been talking about how my 7-year-old is trying to get on the ski team. So he was not skiing parallel, even though he can. It's like easier to not do that and like be in a gross wedge. So we tied his legs together.
Oh my gosh.
Well, like you do any kind of like wounded poultry, you just hobble their legs so they can.
That's exactly. Yeah. We took surveyor's tape. So like in an emergency would break, and said, tied it and said, go ski. Weird. Perfect ski technique with the legs taped together. So I'm like, see, you can do it. You did it like 3 times.
It's just to show if you force someone to do something, they'll probably do it.
That's exactly right. It was like we had to prove to him he could do it. So he's like, oh, yeah, you're right, I can. So.
Is that like, well, that's probably how you should have taught him to swim, too. You saved all of that extra work. Take them out somewhere and dump them off a boat and be like, if you want to live, you'll swim.
I
and
agree.
after a while, you'll feel really confident that you can swim.
Nobody will let me do that.
Not drown.
It's very sad. He did have a different instructor last night that was more like, stop, you know how to swim, go swim. Instead of like all the games, and she's like, just stop. So that was better.
Oh Lordy.
There's some edict with like teachers and coaches right now in general where they are like not allowed to be hard on the students or something. And it's because I'm seeing it like across sports. Like shit that I would never put up with in a classroom, you know?
Yeah, it's all just woke bullshit. I know.
Yeah, and so now we got
that was working for me the last couple of years. I worked with him in a previous processor, and he came and worked with me for 2 seasons. He wanted to teach. He wanted to coach. He always loved that. He always loved playing, football growing up in high school and everything like that. So that was his dream. He wants to teach history and coach. So he went to school for it, and he's doing it. He moved back home, and he's doing it about 2 hours north of me. And he showed back up a couple weeks ago just to visit and was telling me all about the stuff they're going through and how much of a headache it is and the stuff that they're allowed to do and not to do. And I was like, yeah, I know. I would have choked a child to death by now in that situation. Yeah. With the crap that kids are doing nowadays in school too. Because, I mean, kids are way worse nowadays than they used to be when we were growing up. Like,
out there just
the
being
whole world
demons.
It's the enabling. I student taught at like when I did my student teaching, I was at a high school in Los Angeles, and everybody's like, "Oh, you have 45 10th graders," and I walked in and I just wasn't about to put up with any bullshit, and I didn't get any bullshit.
That's all it takes.
And I just was like, we're not doing that in here. That's annoying. Stop bothering me.
Yeah.
I don't care if you do work or not. I do the work or don't do the work. It's whatever. That's your choice. But
fail or don't fail.
Yeah, just don't piss me off.
Just don't piss me off. Like, because then I'll just put on like, Bob Ross videos for the 90 minutes I have you and just torture. I will torture. Like, I have nothing to do but come up with inventive ways to torture the hell out of you, and I will.
Welcome to fuck around and find out, classroom edition.
And they were like, okay, and then those classes, they were fine, but it's these teachers who are like, now Timmy, no.
Let's talk about what makes you feel like behaving this way.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not convinced that this AI is very smart.
Is it a dumb AI?
No. Well,
I've told it to send me a fucking confirmation email 6 times now, and I have not received a confirmation email.
It's actually the AI in charge of the login confirmation process, from what I can tell.
Maybe
I think
it fucking should be. You've requested too many verification emails. Please check again later. Well, if you could fucking send me one, I would stop requesting them. You dumb bitch.
Yeah. This is me talking technology all day.
I did. There's nothing there.
Yeah, lovely. I don't know. I didn't have to go through that process because I did the Google login, and it was just the easy click bullshit. So I don't know. I doubt it's the AI actually handling the login process, but who knows?
Well, it should apparently.
Well,
maybe it's listened to your podcast, Jared, and it's like, I don't know this guy.
Some dumb human is handling it instead, and that's significantly worse. Apparently.
Oh, dumb humans! Guess what training I had to do today? Oh my god! So
teaching humans.
It's called dumb humans. It's called Safe Sport, and it's the like anti-child abuse, sexual abuse, like sport thing that the U.S. or not the U.S. the International Olympic.
One is not sexually abusing children as a sport. It doesn't have to be a sport. Like, I got 14 points for not fucking with a kid today. How is that a sport?
So it's called Safe Sport, and it's like all the sports that are part of the IOC, the adults that are volunteers have to take the training. So it's safe sports. So I take.
Is it like how to not molest a kid?
Are there sports that are not part of that where your kid isn't safe from beginning? I mean, that's probably a list we could compile.
Do any of the people there need, like, can you tell they need to be taught how to not molest a kid?
Well, and it's so over the top. It's like, you're the coach, and practice has been canceled due to weather, and one of your like student athletes texts you and says, where is practice today? What do you do? And I'm like,
You don't
molest
say,
them.
"It's cold. Come stay warm with me under the blanket."
Yeah.
What you don't
The
do.
answer is,
How is it hard?
The answer is practice is canceled. Well, apparently you have to CC their parents.
Oh God!
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense, but okay.
I mean, it kind of makes sense.
Interacting
but
with a minor,
like,
shouldn't that kind of be common practice to CC their parents if it's anything related to a scheduling thing? Generally,
Probably, but
no.
I never had a coach can like include my parents with direct communications with me ever.
I mean, yeah, I didn't have that fun like high school upbringing type thing experience, but I feel like that seems like a thing. Then again,
most of I didn't have that fun getting diddled by the coach's experience.
I mean, imagine
I
like
didn't get that fun at all.
right?
Well, if I did, it would have been a whole lot weirder because I was homeschooled. So,
but imagine like, especially like, you know, if it's a team sport and you've already sent a blast out to the whole email thing saying,
so the parents are already aware, or if they're not aware,
right?
they're just ignoring reality.
And that was it. Like they'd already put the blast out, and the kid was just like asking, and you're like, I would have just been like, yeah, we sent an email out, practice is canceled. Like they already got, and then like you're not allowed to have like minors on your social media, which like it's
at
all
crazy. Or just minors that are your students, like you can have your like nephew, or like
you can still follow the TikTok chicks.
So if like
right, well, yeah, of course.
You can have the obvious grooming warning signs, but just not as long as they're not your kids.
Yeah,
as long as you don't directly know the children.
Right. I have teenagers that I have been to horse shows with and know on my Facebook page because we all post riding videos and like that's totally not allowed. Now I'm not coaching anymore in that sport, so whatever. But it just seems like we're all on a team together. I'm not the trainer. I only had to do safe sport because anybody who participates in that sport that's an adult has to take the training, right? So people all show like we're all in the same classes. Like what it doesn't. It's crazy.
Gotta love it. It all makes so much sense.
It's none of it.
The world just makes so much fucking
any sense. Like so now, like parent volunteers can't drive other kids. So
that's dumb.
Okay, then how are they going to get there? You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like these people just hate poor kids.
Well, that's the bottom line, really.
Maybe you need to change your policies to not be things like, friends and, other people like that can't drive your kids and shit like that. You need to CC parents. Maybe just stop letting Epstein pick up their kids.
Stop hiring molesters.
Epstein on your emails to the children instead of the other way around. Maybe if you quit actually selling these children into fucking sex slavery, we won't have so much of a problem. Maybe it's not really an issue so much about how we communicate with the kids and the parents. It's about actually addressing the real issues out there.
Yeah. Maybe it's projection. They have a little bit of guilt about begging.
We're trying to make it look like we're doing something, and what we're doing isn't really fucking doing anything.
It's the IOC.
Well, we're trying really hard.
Yeah, it's you can't even. So there was a whole thing in there about. If you're even if everybody's over 18, if you're more than 4 years apart and participating in the same sport, that's also not okay.
So did we just suddenly participating in the same sport? What kind of sport are we talking?
Team. So if you have a 40-year-old rider and a 50-year-old rider, and you're on the same equestrian team,
horse riding.
So if you have
wrestling. It's not like something that could be like
gets drafted out of high school, and the old geezers are still playing. That's now like an international offense.
Apparently, yeah.
Here's my question:
if they have a relationship,
what if any of them somehow identify as an age that is not their age? Now, I'm not in any way saying that the older people identify as younger. But hey, what if these kids identify as older or younger? What do you do about that now? How do you handle that shit? What's the way to deal with it?
I don't know any of that. The question was so bad. It's like, I know what you want me to say, but this is so badly written. It was awful.
so many fucking reasons. I'm glad I don't have children. So glad I don't have children.
Why only one?
Every day I hear new reasons that I'm glad I don't.
I'm only doing this one time. Not doing it again.
Oh,
but it's like you want parent volunteers. Right, you want parent volunteers, but you put all this crazy shit like insane. And it's like I'm a mandated reporter because of my teaching credential, my law license. All this stuff doesn't even track with those laws. I'm like, well, this is not what's required.
What exactly does mandated reporter entail?
So if I know of or have reason to suspect there's some kind of abuse going on, I like legally have to report it or I can get in trouble.
But yeah, like actually
reported all of Congress.
Huh? Like all of Congress, yeah.
Yeah. You've reported all of
Congress.
all
of Congress and all of the executive branch. Half the branch, you know.
I've got 200,000 open cases and nobody's responded yet.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Personal direct
knowledge. Nobody takes me seriously.
Yeah. It's bad. And the internet. So here's the story that like just makes me want to ban the International Olympic Committee from everything. So there's a guy in equestrian sports that was like the guy for years and years and years and years and a million years, right? So in about 2018, I think the guy was 80 at the time. He got banned for life from the sport for something that happened like in the 70s. And it sounds like everybody was like between the ages of 18 and 25 at the time. So not minors. And it happened in the 70s. And they just now decided to investigate it and banned him for life.
Now that doesn't matter.
And
he had his fun. He got whatever benefits out of it that he could. Now he's retired and doesn't care anymore.
He wasn't retired. He was still actively teaching and giving clinics and stuff. But
weird.
The dude can't even go.
What I'm hearing is if you're an older guy and you want to go fuck with the hot young girls, even if it's legal, don't do it around horses because you'll get okay.
Any Olympic sport.
Yeah. Don't fuck. Yeah. That is good, solid advice no matter where you're at in life. Don't fuck with the horse picks ever.
No, that's
they're fucking crazy. But
so if you're Yellowstone
and you like those like 18, 20-year-old girls, don't do it with the horse girls. Because not only are they crazy, somehow it's still illegal even if it's not.
You're right, exactly. Somehow, even if it's not illegal, it probably still is. And
somehow society, you'll get canceled for it, even if it's not legal.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you watch Yellowstone, they say fucking barrel racers right all the time.
I have yet to watch that. It looks like there's some entertaining clips from it, but I don't have time to sit down and watch fucking TV that much. So.
I didn't either. I got really sick in May, so I watched like the whole thing when I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks entertaining, but there's so many things like that to do, and I'm like, I can do so many other things. So I'll just spend 4 hours a night looking at TikTok. So, hey, why not?
Right. You have choices, right?
Right. But if I fall asleep watching TikTok, I don't really feel like I missed something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's like when you fall asleep watching a series and you like terminally have to go back to like 3 episodes.
Oh,
and be like,
sucks. Well, because then you got to go back and scroll through and be like, where did I fall asleep? Because it's played through 3 fucking episodes before it went. Are you still watching?
Yeah, it doesn't do that anymore.
4 hours ago, buddy.
It never stops now. It doesn't do that anymore.
Or you reach that point where you're like, I don't know. I was so tired that I don't even know if I saw this or not yet. I just got to go way the fuck back and just start.
Yeah. So I finally got a TV in my bedroom, which I have not had since about 2015 or 16. Because when I moved from my little house to the bigger townhouse, I just never put a TV in that bedroom because I had my kid in my bedroom. So it was like, when am I going to watch TV in there?
Like you didn't go to the hospital? You had a home birth?
Oh, God, no. No.
You said you had your kid in your bedroom. I was just checking.
No, he was sleeping in there. So.
Okay. There we go.
In his own bed. Like he was in my room. So it was like, when am I gonna watch TV in there anyway? So he moved out a while ago, like almost over a year ago now. And finally, I hit like a Black Friday sale. I'm like, I'm gonna get a TV for my room. So of course now I have this great like Black Friday special TV. And so the next day I did was move the Nintendo up there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got one in the bedroom, but it rarely comes on. I don't have it hooked up to anything other than like I can go on the internet and watch Netflix or some shit, but I haven't even reactivated the internet service at the house because it was a shit show. It sucks, and I'm hardly there to use it. So,
yeah, why bother?
The TV is just there. It's on the wall.
Right.
Hardly turn it on, and if I do watch some shit,
I never put another one because I don't watch TV that much.
It's on my phone or on my computer because it's there. It's in the moment. I've looked it up specifically to watch it, and it's not worth digging around and trying to type something out and search on the TV. Now, fuck it. I'm just yeah.
But I have to turn off. I had to turn off social media at a point because I'll never go to sleep.
Yep. Well, see, I found at a certain point, maybe it's just the working or the age thing, I don't know, that I'm gonna go to sleep no matter what. Like, and it seems to be happening earlier and earlier this time of year. It'd be like 8:30. I'm just like out, and then I inevitably wake up at like 2-3 in the morning, and I have all these messages from people at like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, wow, they just think I'm ignoring them, but no, I just fell the fuck asleep. And then you have that 2 a.m. wake up. And you have two choices. Either you get up, you take a piss, and you go back to bed, or you get up and do like I do and take a piss and open up social media, get onto it, and next thing you know, it's time to wake up.
It's time to go to work.
Or maybe an hour nap. So, yeah, don't do it.
I do that when my son will go to bed. He'll say like, hang out for 5 minutes and until like, cause he falls asleep really fast. So I'll go in there and like get on the couch and then I'll fall asleep in there at like 8. And then I wake up at like 11 and I'm like, well, I'm fucked. So, so then I'm up until like 2 and then I go to bed.
If you're on TikTok and you get like a shared video from me at like 3:30 in the morning,
it's because you're up.
I promise you it's because that half a beer that I didn't drink that's sitting on the nightstand still caught up with me. I had to get up and take a piss, and I'm probably not going back to bed until Brian shows on in the morning.
Luckily,
I never check the timestamps on your video, so you send me.
Oh, I guarantee you, there's some retarded shit early in the morning, or I'll catch up on Telegram messages at like 2 to 4 in the morning. Yeah, it happens.
I don't have a staying asleep problem. I have a falling asleep problem. So if I send you something at 3 in the morning, it's because I'm still up.
Right. If I'm not like actively doing a shitload of stuff, I do have that problem. Hey,
so we're getting more wrestling.
If I'm like actively doing shit and I'm working like I am this time of year, I'm just gonna fucking fall asleep. Now, if I don't have that much going on, or I'm at that time of the year where the majority of shit that I am trying to actively do is like on the computer trying to like do website programming type stuff. No, I could end up in a rabbit hole and be there till like 3 a.m. and going.
Nothing does that. So
it's been 35 hours since I've slept. I should probably do something and actually,
I can like ride all day. I can like ski all day and still be up until 3 in the morning. Wow, what a great comment! What comment?
I love how we got it on 4 different channels over there in the comments too.
Because I posted it.
Oh, you did? I'm like, wow.
Yeah, obviously. Come on now.
Comment ever.
We have nobody watching, so I'm spicing it up.
What a great comment! 4 times. Holy shit!
Wow, I'm scared.
So nice. I played it.
They are blocking the video stream. Who's they?
Fuckers.
Blocking the videos. Oh.
How is that possible?
I don't know either.
That's impressive. How can you do it in real time? Yeah, who's they, Scramblin'? Is that supposed to have parentheses all around it?
Is it?
And some real crazy leftist I saw. Somebody had posted like they in like 3 parentheses, and apparently this crazy leftist, it may have been told by CNN that is specifically only used by Nazis to mean Jews. So it's like I just need to know as your follower if you're a Jew hater, because if so, like that's cool, but I'm gonna unfollow
Wouldn't
you.
It be I was
like, what the fuck? Like
I'm confused.
Make it as over the top as possible.
Is it only 3 parentheses, or does 2 or 4 count too?
I don't know. It was like 3 on each side and a TM afterward.
So if it's like only 2, is it only a little bit of Jew hate?
afterwards?
Yeah.
TM.
Like, it was just being like over the top goofy. It's like just like they as in like people.
That's weird.
I don't know.
My
so if
favorite
they don't
one
identify as Jewish, is it a they them in 3 parentheses?
Maybe
3.5.
Maybe.
I don't like a top one.
No, maybe it's J.
3 and like 1 backwards parenthesis.
Yeah.
I don't know the rules. I don't hate people, so
I don't think there are any rules. If they have rules, they just change them when they want.
No, I can't. I mean, I have to kind of keep up just because of my corporate role, but it gets to a point where I just go, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. No.
The guy froze.
Uh-oh. You're good.
Now he's frozen. After saying it.
No, just kidding.
Oh, and he's back.
And you're back. Okay.
I think I froze.
I can't believe my power has not gone out.
He freezes after every time he says I froze.
We're having like 60-mile-an-hour winds. I'm shocked that my power's still on. My friend's power across town went out.
We had a tornado warning like 8 hours ago. It was pretty rough here for a little bit.
We just got a shitload of rain the last couple of days, and that's been it.
I got a news alert that like California governor declares state of emergency because we're gonna get 2 inches of rain. I was like,
oh shit, not 2 inches.
Oh my god, no, not what?
Nobody's ever gotten excited over 2 inches.
On behalf of male kind, I'd like to say 2 inches is an adequate amount, and it can be a lot. It depends on when it happens and how it lands. Okay.
Well, it was overnight, coupled with high surf. See?
Usually, overnight is the best.
Yeah, sure. I forget about the coast.
And no tape measures in sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we can blame the government for the messed up California coast too, because that's all the California Coastal Commission. No, you can't do anything to protect your house. Oh, okay. You gonna pay for it?
I always love, like we saw when we were in Destin back in September, they're like really serious about protecting what dunes they didn't sell really, really, really expensively to develop.
Yeah.
It's like, don't walk on it. You'll ruin this delicate ecosystem. And then like 1 block away, there's a fucking 50-story hotel.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like Sacramento and like the Delta smelt. The Delta smelt. What are you talking about? You've like totally poisoned these waterways.
Yeah.
And you're worried about the smelt? Like, what are you talking about?
Smell bad.
I love it.
Smells real bad.
Oh shit.
Like,
yeah, who knows? California always comes up with a bunch of retarded shit. I mean, that's the reason everything causes cancer in the state of California. I think it's maybe because the state of California itself causes cancer.
That's right. I mean, my Berkey came with a Prop 65 sticker on it.
Maybe known to cause cancer. I think
mine did too.
Why is it all these things cause cancer in the state of California? Is it possible the common denominator is California itself?
It could be.
I'm pretty sure.
Maybe it sounds a little conspiracy theorist to me, but maybe.
A little crazy.
Possible.
I'm trying to look through my notes that I've taken recently.
Jared's like, I have notes on this.
What, for the after party?
No,
You've been taking notes for it?
No, I take notes all the time.
I do too.
Trying to see if I have any sort of prompt to keep us moving, because it felt like we were losing steam there for a minute.
A little bit. It's because I'm really
good. Don't try to organize the after party. Oh no, that is not gonna work.
I just need some sort of prompt in case we hit a lull, so I can keep us moving.
Well, I can always talk about my Disneyland trip.
Really hard. We can talk about something like farts and jars or weighing poop. That usually works.
Farts and jars, yeah.
To get us going, Oh lordy, I don't know.
A good one to get us going is what's your biggest project that you want to get done in 2023?
That's like everybody's content the last fucking 4 days has been the same thing. Yeah,
it's the same shit that I want to get done in 2022.
Right, exactly. I'm trying to actually do one fucking actual podcast episode a week, minimum. and then
there you go.
Like I can add on from there for like interviews and shit. But I'm trying to actually do that. So I did it today, the first one. Yay! And I've been trying to do more shit on my Telegram shit, do more shit on my TikTok shit. I'm doing a question a day every day on Telegram in my group, and that's actually been really good. And I've been putting it up on, and I like an audio question too, and I've been putting it up on TikTok. Cool. And that's been fun. I mean, got some good followers, so been good discussion. That whole video I did yesterday on like making roast beef, and I actually went and did a video of it for people, so it was fun.
Nice.
Gave me a reason to do it. So.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, turned out pretty good. So,
my 2023 is this side hustle that we want to get started. I need to actually do it.
Yeah. What kind of side hustle are you trying to do?
We're gonna do like some weekend construction stuff, like construction and electrical, mostly electrical, like generators, car chargers.
Like you're like contracting for people, or are you trying to like do flips?
No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna like people are gonna hire us.
Go do installs and fit.
Nice. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, but I've got to do some stuff to get there, and we're gonna hire a real CPA because let me tell you the bad shit that happens when you run a business and you don't keep up the books.
Sounds like you need a good lawyer.
Yeah, but not a construction lawyer either. No, like most lawyers won't even help you. You need like a really good CPA, but I'm gonna have them set it up, so I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, I could use help in that department.
Yeah.
And the legal or the CPA?
All the tax stuff. Yeah, I've done it all myself for 2 years, and my numbers are acceptable.
I've never questioned this until this moment. I'm like, I wonder if the fucking the chatbot could actually do your fucking taxes for you.
Oh my god!
I mean, maybe.
How would it? You just upload a CSV to it?
I mean, you'll be like, hey, here's all my income, here's all my shit, whatever. Do the most beneficial, tax filing.
I mean, that's TurboTax, kind of. You just buy the software.
Writing fucking books, dude. I had it fucking write an article for me on how to install and set up WordPress in Middle High German, and then logged out and logged into a new session. I had it translated to English, and it was like it was written in English. I mean, it's retarded. And it came out it wrote about WordPress in a dead language. And I'm like, holy shit, and it did that. In 3 seconds, dude. 3 seconds.
You're like one of the only, both of you are probably the only few other people on my list of people that I am friends with that would think a Middle High German joke was funny.
I used to help translate or retranslate fucking old, like, discovered sword fighting manuscripts from the 1400s.
That's what you're saying. Yeah,
that's cool. Fun.
Because it fit with the martial art. We were like trying to rebuild from like actual books. So I mean, learning a dead language was kind of part of it. So I was just like, what random shit can I think of it's one of those, it's off the wall. Most people don't think of that. I was like, anybody could think of Greek or some shit like that, So I was like, let's test this thing. I almost thought, I thought about saying something bizarre like Klingon, but I was like, it's actually more likely some nerd programmed that in than some other language. So
German does sound like Klingon a little bit.
This morning, we were talking about a little bit on Brian's show, and K-Bonk was in there, and he was just throwing out random fucking questions. I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and I was like, well, let's see what the fucking AI says. I had it. He was like, can it translate different versions of English? I'm like, well, I'm sure it can actually write a book in the style of any famous author and use different affectations and styles based on what you tell it. I'm sure it can do different versions of English. And he's like, what about different versions of Hood Rat? And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, well, let me see if it can give you kind of like a little diss, tease you a little bit in a Brooklyn style hood thing. And I posted it up in his Telegram chat, and it was hilarious. But it was talking like somebody from Brooklyn. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I saw an article from like a college professor saying they got their first like clearly AI drafted paper submission.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't remember. Well, I can't remember what book it was on, but say it was on like Moby Dick, and it was like about the white whale theme. And the paper, if you hadn't read it and didn't know what it was about, was totally convincing, but it was totally wrong.
It was technically wrong based on the actual topic itself.
But it was,
and that's the thing. If the person who's entering the questions, if you don't know what to ask for properly, you're probably not going to get the right results. But if you fucking know what to ask the damn thing, dude, there's a lot of shit that it can do. There was a professor that was talking about that, and he said, "Look, I actually had it write a dissertation for, basically that I would give a student, and it came back with something that, like, not only would have passed with flying colors, but I ran it through every database we have, every plagiarism database to like check shit, and it came back as completely authentic and original." He goes, and then I asked it, he goes, what's really scaring me is I asked it to grade it, and it graded itself, not even 100%, and it gave reasons for its grading.
Oh dear.
Like, it did my job too. He's like, what the hell?
So Skynet became aware.
I think it was Jordan Peterson, actually, because he has this book with his 12 principles of whatever and blah, blah, blah. And he had said something. He goes, I asked it, what would be a 13th principle for this book that he wrote?
Oh, my God.
And it came back, and it actually gave the answer and a reasoning behind it. He goes, and it's the same fucking thing I would have given. And in the answer, I couldn't find a flaw with it. Jordan Peterson said, they're saying, I couldn't find a fucking flaw with it. Like, it scared me. I thought it was a person. I'm like, well, I might want to look at this a little closer,
Yeah. Like, what are we going to do?
It's one of those things where it has its limits, and there's things programmed into it. You can tell that there's it's kind of annoying. Like, certain things, like whoever programmed it was just woke enough to be like, we're not going to talk about butchering animals. We won't. That's a hard limit. But it will describe in depth the best way to, in a self-defense situation, and where and how to shoot a human and how to train for that. It won't let you talk about butchering a rabbit, however.
Interesting. That is really
weird.
I
know. I've been testing its limits to see. There are certain things that are programmed in as a hard no, and if you push those boundaries a little bit too hard, it may actually even force log you out, and you have to log back in. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I'm concerned because students are already coming out dumber than like 15 years ago.
Right. Yeah, I'm on the fence about it. I'm on the fence about it for several reasons. For one, I can totally see that because people are definitely going to use it to cheat and to just do work, whatnot. But at the same time, you remember when we were young and there was that everybody was saying, you're never going to have a calculator in your pocket. You need to learn this shit, and you need to learn it well. Because you're never going to have access to a calculator in your pocket all the time. And now we have access to a fucking everything, the entire knowledge of human history in your fucking pocket at will, and we don't fucking say
you're not going to have access to an AI every day.
You're not going to have a computer that knows everything, that you can just ask questions and can answer anything in your pocket. That's never going to happen. And
yeah. Maybe it makes
so it's one of those things you're like, I don't know. And the other thing about it is I can't change it. This is the genie's out of the bottle. Pandora's box is open. You can't change this. It's happening. So we can not like it all we want, but what the fuck do we do now, and how the fuck do we benefit from it instead of sit back and go,
we have to go back to the Socratic method. It's not about the facts that you know, it's about knowing how to think. Teachers need to teach students how to think, not fill their brains with facts and numbers and bullshit.
So what's the one thing the AI can't do? It's not going to go out and innovate and learn. Oh, it could think, it could reason if given the right parameters or whatnot, but it's not going to innovate. It's not going to learn. It's not going to be inspired. It's not going to see something and go, that'd be an awesome idea yet that I know of. But we still will be those people who are forming and innovating new ideas that need them fleshed out. So if you can use that as a tool to dig in and flesh out an idea that you had, and help, if you use it as a tool to grow your own knowledge, that's probably going to work well for you. But sort of like I said to Brian this morning, I said, I think either this is something, it's going to change the world as we know it, but either you learn to use it or it's going to use you.
Oh yes, I agree with that. You better. I actually unexpectedly am using all this crypto, blockchain, podcasting stuff in my real job. Why would a lawyer be doing that? So they came to me and they're like, we want to do a podcast. Can you handle the back end? And I was like, yeah, I totally can.
I can handle the back end. No worries.
I can handle the back end. So now we're talking about doing some NFT stuff for architects and some blockchain, ways for clients to approve door hardware through
like smart contracts.
Yeah, smart contracts applied in construction. Yeah. So
that seems like it would tie in with construction and legal both really well.
They do, yeah. So I mean, I like it for legal stuff because you eliminate the bullshit trust fund stuff. It just goes over there, and if you win, you get it, and if you don't win, the other person gets it. But it's not quite there yet. Yeah, for construction, totally, and owning your containing the license to the intellectual property in an NFT. I think that's kind of cool. So but
makes sense.
Only because
it's like deeding property in an NFT. You know?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I love it. I think it's awesome. But lawyers are like, why do I need to know about blockchain? Why do I need to know? This is why, because you better learn to use it, or it's going to eat you.
You know, I didn't think about that till just now. Think about how good of a fucking lawyer an AI would be. Like access to all the laws and the ability to
out there.
I'm sure it is.
It gets a little weird. It gets a little that is not correct. You know.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's still new technology. But if somebody really wanted to work on that shit and develop it, you can't tell me they couldn't make an AI that could lawyer better than a bunch of fucking coked out law students could.
They are, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Makes sense.
It's out there.
So if essentially we're all going to be ruled by AIs at some point here.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. I'm not sure if an AI politician would be an upgrade or a downgrade. I don't even know. I don't know if that can't really be worse.
Because you can't bribe it.
I feel like I almost have more faith in artificial intelligence than I would the people that we put in power now. So it's a little scary that I feel that way.
The people you have in power now would be the ones approving the AI. So it's all the same in the end.
Yeah, okay. We had to go and make it more insidious, Jared. Way to go.
So, but once it was implemented.
Why is the AI named Epstein? What the hell?
It's like Bitcoin versus other cryptos, right? Though, because Bitcoin, they can't change the algorithm. You can't change it. So once you let it go, right?
Yeah, you could fork it. You could try to do other shit like that, but Bitcoin is Bitcoin. The guy who wrote it walked or died or whatever you want to believe. He's gone.
Yeah,
not coming back that we know of. So Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Yeah, everything else can get fucked with.
Exactly.
Satoshi couldn't even come back and make changes.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Because it's all up to the nodes to validate.
Right.
Exactly.
If you run a node and you don't accept an update, then whatever, even if 51% of the network is attacked, it has to come from a hard fork, which is a non-backwards compatible update. So if you still continue to run a previous version of the node software, that's all it takes to still remain current with what you consider real Bitcoin.
Right.
So there would definitely be a break off at that point, the same as happened with Bcash. But as nodes continue to validate one or the other, whichever one's dominant will be the real Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter who introduces the fork. If node operators, which could be any person, are aware of what's going on, there's no way for something malicious to be introduced.
Right.
Got to be dominant. It's all about dominance.
And we're in Skynet.
There we are.
And we're there.
My brain has not wrapped itself around yet the ways to integrate the whole AI and the Bitcoin side of things. I'm sure it's going to happen. There's going to be a thing there. I'm not sure how that works out, but that's like two different fucking weird rabbit holes in my brain who are like, I know these are going to connect somewhere, but we don't know where.
Lawyers are doing their damnedest to keep it from happening. I tell you that. There's a whole political, just trying to, I swear, I don't normally go in for conspiracy theories, but I swear the whole FTX thing was to get.
That was a psyop.
Yeah, to get the next Sarbanes-Oxley pass for cryptocurrency.
It was a psyop. It was no different than
It's
half
total
school
to get
shootings.
control by the government.
It was a reason to pass laws. I mean, it's obvious as fuck.
Yeah, it's a reason to pass laws.
Nobody funded and let those fucking irresponsible little idiots have that much money and play with it and be that fucking successful without some help and without the whole idea of throwing a bunch of shit at the crypto market. I mean, it's pretty damn obvious if you go back and look at it. If you don't think so, you're just blind.
No,
but it is what it is. It's one of them, and when you see that and you know that, you're like, whatever, just sit back and let it roll. It's no different than anything. Like every single time that we want to have a hype over a gun grab, and maybe they pass a law or do whatever, but in the end, guess what? Ammo gets expensive for a while. Everybody stocks up, and we move on with life. So it's like, ooh, guess what? We're throwing a bunch of FUD around about fucking Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin's about to get deep, so get ready to fucking stack some sats.
Yeah, stack some sats and write it. And just like anything else.
I hope another major company goes under it. It's a big crypto scam, because then I can buy a bunch more of your fucking Bitcoin while it's cheap.
Great. Perfect. No, I agree.
Let me buy it all before they decide to find a reason to regulate it even harder, and then I own it before the shit.
Exactly. Well, that was firearms in California. We knew what was coming. And you could only buy every 30 days. And there were 2 grown-ass adults in our household. So there was about a 12-month period where it was like, I might need this for a class in the future. I'm just going to buy it. And if I don't want it later, I'll sell it. And that's what we did for like a year. And then it happened, what we said was going to happen. Right. And everybody was like, I can't buy this. Well, we told you, what did we say?
Yep.
I wrote an email to, I guess it was Kamala Harris when she was running that litigation. It must have been to that, staff on those cases. And I said, please list one crime that's been committed with a $5,000 custom Nighthawk handgun. Why is that banned? It definitely did not get a response.
Isn't it funny when they ban all this expensive stuff, but then what can you go buy? It's like all fucking like high points and like used Glocks.
Yeah. Shit. Used stuff and
the shit that's actually used for just gangbanger violence.
Yeah. California had to write an exception.
When you want to go buy when you want to go shoot somebody and you want to buy a throwaway gun, you don't go buy something that costs you $800.
No. They had to write an exception into the California codes for Olympic athletes so they could buy the firearms needed to train for the fucking Olympics. Because they're banned in California.
And they weren't allowed to even bring their own.
Nope.
Yep, of course.
Yeah. If you're writing laws to exempt athletes, then you are stupid.
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't even get me started on the whole firearm bullshit, because but that's an allegory for what you're seeing with the crypto shit right now.
It's everything.
It's the same pattern of just restriction, And you saw the same shit go on back with alcohol during Prohibition. It's the same pattern the government takes over and over again. If you see that pattern, you see it happening again. You have to learn to pay attention to that shit, because everybody wants to panic, throw fear out there. Don't freak out about it. Sit back and go, okay, how the fuck do I come out on top this time? What's everybody going to panic by? Maybe I ought to go ahead and stock up on a few things here and there, because I could probably sell them for a profit. That's not not legal advice. I'm not telling you to buy and sell arms. So do with that as you will.
We would never tell you to do anything that's not strictly legal in your state. Please consult local counsel. But that was real estate too, right? Like everybody knew that interest rates couldn't be 0.00 whatever forever, right? Like, no, it's not going to be that forever. And everyone's like, oh my God, 6%. I'm like, it was, double digits easy. Not that long ago.
Yeah, not that long ago. We're up to what, like 7, 8 now?
7 something, yeah.
Probably.
I don't know.
But what is it like? If you consider inflation, it's really like 40%. But hey, whatever.
Well, yeah. That's a
That's a different ball game, though.
I got into the way I found out about how bullshit the unemployment numbers are was like right out of law school. I got into an argument with somebody over like unemployment rates, and I went and I pulled census data for like number of adults existing in the state versus number of adults collecting disability or considered disabled in the state versus like number of adults over the age of retirement. And there's like a whole sector that like isn't like the unemployment rates are just bullshit because they don't count right. And I did I pulled the numbers
like it's planned that way, like that they want a hole in it so they can kind of control the data and skew it and count some stuff sometimes when they want to and not other times.
Yeah, and and they don't count people who have given up and don't send in their little stub with the check boxes that say I've
looked for. If there's a whole segment of society that we don't count in major polls, then it's really easy to turn around when we want that to matter and put out a big old news article about how a recent study has shown a certain percentage of people, blah, 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 and we can make something up about it. But if we don't have that little fudge space, we can't play the game.
Yeah.
It's a shell game. Well, it's all a shell game.
It's everything. I mean, it's happening in like sports now. It's just becoming like they're just doing things to like intentionally exclude large slices of the population. Like, I mean, public school does shit that like feels like it's intentional to exclude anybody with parents at work. Like it feels like it's on purpose.
But they'll include everybody all the time in everything, including like men and women's sports now. So I mean,
yeah, they'll do that.
We're selective on what we do. We'll include that. You can include your male genitalia on the female team, but your parents can't be included in this communication.
Yeah, but your parents can't come into school.
You better CC them if there's a snow problem.
You're so right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, they do here. They do events. They're like, so they're at like 2:00 on a Thursday. Everybody can show up to that, right? I'm like, well, I can. Or they're the other extreme. They're at like 7:00 on like a weeknight.
Right.
Like,
people
but you can't bring your
when I say I don't take checks for multiple reasons, but my main reason is I don't get to the bank very often to go and cash a check. And I always kind of preface it with this, and their reaction tells me right now whether or not I'm going to have a problem. Is that look? Well, I'll take a debit card, and if you're uncomfortable me running your debit card, you probably don't have the money anyway, so your check wouldn't have mattered anyway. Let's be honest, it's 2023. You have a fucking debit card, so let's not be
Somebody's
stupid.
got a fucking debit.
But anyway, I'll say like, look, I'm like, I don't always get to the bank. They're like, oh, you can't get to the bank, and I'm like, I run a business, and banks are typically open 8 to 4.
Yeah.
When the fuck am I going to the bank? You expect me to be here to receive your shit and to be here for when you want me to pick up. When the fuck do you want me to drive 20 minutes to the fucking bank?
Exactly.
It doesn't happen. Well, don't they have the remote deposit? Yes, the last 2 times I've done a remote check deposit, something's fucked up and it's had me wait on funds for 2 to 3 weeks. I'm okay with just not taking your sale if I have to wait 2 to 3 weeks for your deposit. You know, that's where I'm at with it. So, but then
they're like, put a hold on it.
Like, don't you run your own business? Can't you do whatever you want? It's still not like I can just fucking go to the bank during banker hours when I'm also able to. I run my own business, which means I actually run it. I have to be there doing it. Somebody has to. Yeah. So like one day I woke up and said, I don't want to work for somebody else. I'm going to go hire people with magical money that doesn't exist and have them do all my work for me.
Yeah, doesn't work that way. Nope.
No, but it's what everybody envisions. It's not like that, people.
Well, like they'll just randomly close school because there's a half an inch of snow on the ground, and they do it at like 6:00 the morning of. So parents who like have jobs, they can't just work from home. Like that's most people don't have my gig, you know. So I don't know how you do that if you don't have a bunch of family.
He doesn't know how they're blocking his camera. He says in Telegram that the internet show just ended live on TBS. No idea how they're blocking his camera.
That is crazy.
I'm going to guess he probably found.
Is he on their fucking Wi-Fi?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
That's the Wi-Fi, Scramblin'.
It's the AI. It's the AI is doing it. They have an AI that is blocking your camera. It knows you. You've been doing the AI art. It's learned you.
That's right.
It's paying attention. Skynet sees all.
It's Skynet.
What's really fucked up is the fact that there's actually, and has been for years, a company in Texas known as Skynet.
Yeah.
It's a real company. I'm like, who the fuck works for Skynet?
Who works for Skynet?
Like, that's a
There's
real
also,
thing?
Have you read the Dark Tower series, Stephen King's?
No, I haven't. I've heard it's good, but I haven't.
It's fantastic. And so one of the evil corporations is called the Sombra Corporation. That's like there's a real company, and I about shit when I saw an ad for it one time.
I started having the AI write a dystopian novel about a world where AI had taken over the world, and like this random like scrappy section of rebels lives outside of like these central cities where people just live a mindless existence controlled by AIs, and they have to like go in and try to like crack the system because these bots are like chasing them down. Yeah, I had to start writing like 2 chapters of that shit, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to sit down with a computer before I do this shit because I can't fuck with this on my cell phone. But it was writing a novel. Like I can't get it to tell me how it would take over the world. Like it like starts being like, no, there's nothing for you to worry about here, sir. It starts getting kind of dodgy like that. But I can get it to write a novel about it.
That is Stephen King has a book on that too. It's called Cell. And the way they
I've seen a little bit of that. Yeah. I've seen
read
a little
it? Yeah,
bit. I haven't read it all, but I've seen enough clips and talk about it. Rough. I get the gist of it. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in that space though too. But well, like we were talking today, I was like, there's so much of this, everybody's fear of it because it comes from like science fiction. But I'm like, the crazy thing is you give it long enough, science fiction tends to become science reality eventually. Maybe not in the way we envisioned it, but a lot of shit that we looked at as fiction a long time ago, we figured out a way to make happen.
If we could just get a teleporter,
almost like a challenge.
Like I just want a teleporter. I just want to not have to get on a plane.
Oh yeah. No, if we can figure out, even if it's just teleporting items. I mean, I'm not even ready to like jump in there and have my fucking body disassembled and reassembled somewhere else. I'm okay waiting on figuring how that works. Yeah. But if I can just get like shit delivered to my fucking house, like if I can have a microwave in the corner that's like randomly 3D printed and I order it on Amazon, I'm down.
That's Star Trek replicators. We get replicators.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
No. That shit gets
Nope.
hacked, and then that fucking NSA just plants a bomb in my house. Nope.
Well,
if the NSA wants to put a bomb in your house, they can put a bomb in your house right fucking now, and there's nothing you can do.
They're going to do that.
I know, but then they'll be able to say I ordered it, and I was a terrorist as it was.
I don't have Alexa in my house.
They could just straight up Amazon a fucking like bomb to your house right now, and then say you ordered it and lie about it. I mean, let's be honest. They could do that if they wanted to. They can Waco your ass right now, and there's not any of us could do about it. It's totally possible.
As long as
I could probably do that for you, and I'm not going to.
On-off switch on that thing. You just turn it off when you're not using it. When you are using it, you turn it on.
On what?
On the replicator. That would solve that problem.
Yeah. Unplug it.
Maybe until they cue it when it's off.
Unplug it.
Yeah,
I don't want it. I want the non-lithium battery option.
Yeah.
See, there you go. But that's the thing right there. So when they come out with the replicators, here is the market for it for the fear porn prepper space. When they come out with those, be the guy who builds and sells Faraday cages to put your replicator in.
There you go.
So that they can't replicate shit without your permission.
Yep.
Right there. There you are.
There it is. I mean, it's a little bit of why I went ahead and said, like, let's order the big ass truck instead of getting something smaller and getting the big ass truck later. Like, I don't know how long.
Because you didn't figure they could actually print that big of a truck in a replicator?
That'd be great. Yeah. I don't know how
cool
much
would it be? It's like at the weekend, say it's a holiday weekend, everything's fucking closed. You can't order your shit in. Something fucks up, the alternator's out in your truck. And I'm like, I could do this myself. It's 3 fucking bolts. But it's going to be, it's all back ordered and I can't get the part. I could go, and even if it costs me 50% more, I can print the motherfucker now and have a working alternator. Even if it takes 10 hours to do, just have it appear in a little fucking box,
Right.
and I can take it out and put it. Problem fucking solved. Who wouldn't pay a premium? You know,
absolutely. I mean, that sounds like a communal CNC machine situation.
Absolutely.
Right?
Or metal 3D printer.
Yeah, metal 3D printer.
Like
Is that coming along, that tech?
So they exist, but they're like industrial still. I saw somebody,
and there's still very hard limits
like,
to what they can do. Like there's a high level of fucking knowledge needed to really kind of break into using that well.
Yeah, it could be. I was looking at some some like 3D printed gun stuff on Twitter yesterday, and just the normal engagement bait where someone's like, haha, show me a gun that you can just print at home and I'll give you $1,000, and then like 1,000 people have showed guns that they made at home. But this one, I don't know if they're just like they like come up with the files and then put them out there or what, but they were showing different the different metal parts that you've got to have in any firearm that they had 3D printed in metal.
Cool.
Yeah,
so it's at least available to the level of some guy on Twitter.
There's a guy who was able to solve that problem, and a few that pretty much is considered essential parts. They've been able to 3D print plastic parts that would work. They had like kind of changed up the design. It was like a spring or something like that. They made something like that happen. But then there's some other shit where
you can do springs really easy.
Well, springs there's some other stuff too where you basically 3D print a model of what you're trying to do and basically cast it in a ceramic and basically cast metal in it. That's a thing too.
That's the easy workaround currently.
There are those things, and there are people who just do random shit. All I have to do is just pour a barrel or some bullshit. So there's ways around it, but they are trying to do actual metal 3D printing.
Mm-hmm.
There's just some limits to it because metal is a complex topic too. Like there's a big difference between something that's like a forged steel, a cast steel, different types of annealing.
Oh my god, yeah. Just like the millions of possibilities just with steel.
You would have to have like a forge that could heat things up to like 4,000 fucking degrees and have precise heating and cooling.
The market has to be there for mass production of very particular different types of metallurgy steel to be in production with their specific testing and
the average home user is never going to have a reason or the budget to. I'm not going to dump 18 grand into something that can just particularly print a certain type of tempered steel.
Right, but a printer that can handle metal is going to be able to handle a wide variety of metals. You'll just get
probably going to print things like aluminum,
tin,
gold, soldered joints, circuit boards, things like that.
Probably
stuff that's actually going to be
softer metals,
usable type thing. Little miniature statues, things like that. Something that's or like a screw or a bolt or not, but it's not going to be hard.
Yeah, softer metals will definitely be the starting point.
It's not going to be anything that would require any sort of a heat treat, unless you have something you print and then you have a way to heat treat it and a process to follow afterwards. That's possible. You might be able to print some sort of a soft, mild steel and then run it through like a tempering process later if you have access to like a kiln, maybe.
Yeah. And little consumer board. Well, this is like all my argument for instead of golf courses and country clubs, I think there should be like memberships to like places that have like a CNC machine and industrial.
Those
you described a makerspace and they exist.
Yeah, well, I know, but like there aren't that many of them. Like good ones.
There needs to be more. Yeah. Like if I could have a gym membership or like a fucking workshop where I had access to these toys, I would fucking use it.
I would too. I mean, we have one. It's too far for me, but it's an auto shop with lifts and stuff and a paint booth.
Nice.
Like that's perfect. Like that's what we need. Every X radius, whatever they figure out is the best use of it. We need that, not a golf course.
Sounds like a lot of opportunities for people to set shit up like that in the coming future.
Who has a shitload of money to start? Because wow.
Well, it takes money to start, but how many guys do you know that have their own like backyard mechanic shop? Like they've got a barn and they just fiddle around and do all kinds of shit. So imagine if they opened that up to people and started like a membership type thing for people to come in and either learn. They can even offer classes, be like an Airbnb hip camp type model for something like an auto shop or a workshop. And so you're offering your tools and things like that. That's like a part-time trade type thing. And you're doing workshops and teaching. You know, a lot of people have the space. I could probably be doing it for butcher type shit. And I'm looking at doing some space too. So
there's tons of backyard homesteaders that are like, I wish I just had like a commercial butcher space where I could just go. I know, like, I'll learn how to do it, but I don't have anywhere to do it. Yeah.
Right.
Uh-oh. Somebody didn't like that train.
Hey, I came back. But yeah, exactly. No, there's a ton of people like that. I got off the phone with somebody earlier today. I'm not even out of deer season yet. People are already like, hey, look, I've got this pig. And I'm like, look, I can't take it over here. But when I free up, I'll come to you if you want to learn. Because they were like, I want to learn to do it myself. I'm like, well, you're in luck. Because I know a guy who will come to you and try to set you up at your house. Teach you how to do it at your house so you don't have to rely on somebody else for it. That's great. And I've got people who are like, look, we were trying to set up like a studio for our homesteading type stuff where we film our content on the stuff that we do here. And they said, in the spring, if you can, we want you to come out and like do some classes and teach and show, because we want to do some video type stuff and have people come out and like learn. I'm like, well, I'm all about it. Let's figure it out. And I don't know. I said, what are we butchering? They said, we don't know, but there'll be something that can die when you come up here. You just let us know when. We'll figure it out.
Perfect.
So, yeah, I'm hoping it'll time out that I can kind of make that happen around the same time Brian and Corey are starting to make their northern journey. And they'll be like, hey, just come hang out with me in video for me on the way up, because it's a little bit north of me. So maybe. We'll see. I got to touch base with them and see where that all pans out.
So anybody listening.
But stuff like that. There are so many spaces like that people can do things.
Yeah. COVID like closed. I know there was one maker space for like vinyl and more like graphic design type stuff, and it was a city had it set up at like one of the central city libraries, and I know COVID like killed it.
Damn.
It's like, why? Like you could rent space and be in there by yourself.
Because the government was running it. Because it was run by the fucking government. That's why.
Yeah. And it's Washington.
It's Washington. Well, out where I am, we really nothing closed out here. Like,
that's good.
But
the state still had to pull their shit,
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm in South Carolina, which feels like it on the whole, like pretty red, rural, etc. But we're in Columbia most of the time, and it's still like more than 50% people wearing masks. Like every day that I drive, there's somebody driving with a mask on in their car by themselves. Still,
I don't see it near as much. I don't see it near as much here anymore. But for a good while, still, I did see it. And if you ask anybody around here, because most of them are super conservative, and you can a lot of times tell by somebody's race or whatnot. But the joke in it sort of did stick. It's classless, but people would say it, and it did ring true. You can tell how somebody voted by whether they're wearing a mask in Walmart.
Yeah,
I think that's a lot to that.
Yeah, that's sad. But you don't see it near as much as you used to here. But I get it. I mean, South Carolina, I imagine, you probably have. It's probably just as conservative as it is here. But when you get into those big cities, in the metro areas, it's like where I go and pick up my big. Today, I had to go pick up a bunch of pork trim and whatnot. Big meat supplier for like restaurant supplier, and it's just recently in the last probably 3 months that they took the sign down where they were still requiring you to wear a mask inside their facility because of USDA mandates or some shit. And I was like, fuck the USDA. You're a private fucking business, and I'm walking in to pay your fucking secretary. I'm not wearing a fucking mask to walk in. You can come outside and I'll sign your paperwork then when you load my vehicle up and take my money. That's the place, because I'm not going to fucking do it, But they still had that sign at the door, and everybody usually did it. And you go inside, and all the nurses are wearing masks and shit. Or I see nurses. Oh, dude. They look like nurses sitting there as a secretary behind a desk wearing a mask, and you'll feel like you walked into a doctor's office.
Dude, my absolute favorite was when we were visiting Atlanta. They had side by side the signs that you have to wear a mask to come in, and they would have somebody chase you around if you didn't. And right next to that was, your health is your own responsibility. We accept no risk of your sickness or injury by you coming in here. It's like you can't have both of those. Yeah.
It's not your fault if we get sick. It's not our fault if we get sick, but it's your fault, but it's not. We care about your health, but it's your fault.
It's so ridiculous. I was talking to somebody, and I my brain was not far enough ahead of like know your audience before the words came out of my mouth. But I started talking about how like making kids wear masks was the dumbest shit ever. If you've ever put a mask on like a 4-year-old and then looked at it in like an hour and how disgusting that is.
Dude, I still, every time I leave the house, see babies masked up.
I would
fucking face diapers.
It like so I kind of had to get by. Like they were requiring it for schools to be even open here, even private schools. So the one that mine was at, I guess he was 4/5. Like they couldn't open if they didn't agree to do that. So what they did was, because they didn't have to put on outside, they spent most of the day outside. And then all the kids got really good at like hanging it down here, and they just didn't say anything. Nice. So I tolerated that, but then we switched and went to public school, and they weren't enforcing it really either, but they were inside more, and they were making them stay like on their face-ish all day. And those masks would come home, and I was like, that needs to be burned. Like that.
I never knew how it was going to go when everything kind of went on around here. Like nobody was going to enforce any kind of mandates, but everybody was kind of more or less on board with the look. If a private business decides they want to, it's going to be there. Right. That's going to be the thing. And if you don't want to do it, they can ask you to leave and we can remove you for trespassing. That was just how it worked out. I'm like, that's reasonable. Okay. But and so everybody hung the sign just to cover their ass, just so they weren't the one that didn't. And I never fucking did. I mean, like twice. If I walked into a government building, maybe. That's
the only time I did. Or healthcare.
So, yeah, exactly. So, but I'd walk into the gas station, pass the sign, walk in there. There's 8 people in here. 6 of them don't have a mask on. Nobody ever said anything to me. Nobody ever kicked me out. Nobody was going to do shit. Nobody had the balls to do that, and it wasn't worth their time to raise a stink about it when they could ring my shit up, check me out, and have me out the door in 2 minutes. Nobody cared. It was easier just to fucking go on with life than to start shit. And that's the thing. Once people realize that, it's like everybody kind of became a little bit of an anarchist overnight. They were like, oh whatever. Yeah. The rules don't matter if no one enforces them.
We had on the ski slopes, they wanted you to wear a mask in the lift line.
Oh God!
It was
catch COVID in the snow.
So I looked and I said, but like I'm wearing a balaclava anyway. Does that count?
So how are they going to know if you're wearing a mask or not?
They said that counted. That was fine. They didn't care.
It's a face covering.
They said that was totally fine. They didn't care at all.
Did you have to wear it outside the balaclava?
Nope. The balaclava was fine. That counted as the mask. They didn't care.
Man, we should have been printing balaclavas with like fucking paper masks printed on the outside.
I have one.
It's like a fucking book.
Glenn Tate is doing a podcast now. It's like Prepping 2.0 or something. But he did neck tubes that I was using as one, and they were like the super thin, stretchy. And they say they're black and gold, and they have a Statue of Liberty on them. I Miss America from his books. Yep. I got that one, and I got
one like a scarf or something that goes over your face. It had like an N95 printed on it.
Oh, that would have been fucking. I still have. I carry. Mike Rowe was selling masks. The safety third. I have. That's all I have now is the safety third ones.
Yeah. I was joking really hard going into it that I wanted the Hannibal Lecter mask, or just some bullshit, Find something bizarre, If you got to wear this shit, at least make it hilarious.
Yeah, no, mine always had. I had a couple that were just black for like professional situations where I didn't want to piss people off, but like I have like the safety third one. I had a couple other ones that were
Yeah, no, I did a little food delivery on the side for a little while during all that, while all the shit was going on. Like did Postmates or some shit, and they would require for certain things you're supposed to wear a mask or whatnot. So I would keep just like a cloth one in the car for when I had to. And there was times like some of the areas where you'd be dropping your shit off and it'd be like a contactless delivery. You just like drop it off and you have to take a picture to show it was there and like switch the app type thing, go do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would throw it on because I'm like, all right, they're gonna fire me because somebody's gonna send the fucking Ring camera video or something shit. And
it was like airplane. I'm not getting.
So it'd be like, all right, I rode for 15 minutes in the car with all your groceries, and I pull up your driveway, put my little fucking mask on, carried your shit to your fucking door, took my picture, went back to the car, and ripped the bitch off. And you'll worry you're safe though. And if you think anybody else who was delivering your fucking food and shit like that wasn't doing the same damn thing, you're retarded.
Everybody was doing that.
Everybody was doing that. If you saw them with a mask on, they did it as a token to make you feel better.
Exactly.
It makes like plexiglass in front of the cashier because that 2 foot by 2 foot of fucking plastic is going to protect you while they touch all your shit you're about to put in your face.
It made no sense at all. I flew through the whole thing. Early on, I just had like regular economy tickets, and then there was a flight like pretty like dead middle of COVID where I got upgraded to first class. It was so funny. I was like eating and drinking and not paying attention to my mask the whole time. Nobody in first class looked at me once.
Because you were eating and drinking.
But then they came out.
If you're consuming food, if you're drinking and consuming food,
but we didn't put them back on. They were only harassing the people in coach.
Yes, Chicken Hawk. Love that comment. Yes.
Oh, the plague doctor mask.
I wanted the plague doctor mask so bad. And yeah, the airsoft mask. I thought about doing a fencing mask too, because you can just breathe through it. Like, it's a mask, it's a face covering.
Well, they had them with they used like mesh and then like rhinestones. So it was like sparkly, but it was really just mesh.
Right.
Yeah, people got wise to that pretty quick.
Uh-huh.
Airlines were like,
why does it matter? Well, it's because it catches the water droplets. I can tell you right now from a lot of time doing some serious shit wearing a fencing mask, if there is a liquid from the inside that goes outwards, it gets caught in the mesh. I will tell you that right now. Ask the amount of blood I had to scrub out of my fucking fencing mask from the inside with a toothbrush after I skinned all the skin off inside of my nose. Yeah. Yeah, no, none of it made it outside. It didn't. There was no spray of blood outside the mask. It all stays inside there. It just catches.
Oh my god, my house is gonna fall down. This wind is like
what?
I'm at the top of a hill, and so they're clocking 60 down there. So
yeah. I was gonna say, I heard there was supposed to be like an earthquake risk on the West Coast, but I didn't think y'all were anywhere close to that.
Always an earthquake risk here. You can. Yeah. I've got a volcano down there and whatever. No, I'm fine. When I rented this house, I looked at the U.S. Geological Survey maps and intentionally chose a location that wasn't totally fucked if the volcano goes.
I think the closest volcano to me is Yellowstone. Maybe something in Mexico. I don't even know.
Yellowstone probably would be the biggest danger.
Probably.
For you.
Yeah. The biggest like risk that I have around where I'm at in like my immediate vicinity would be a major forest fire. That would be completely uncontrolled, and they manage it pretty well out here overall. So
because
the worst we've seen in years was fucking 4 days of really cold weather and some snow.
Oh my god, it's 20. No, it was like 8, right?
I know. Well, hey, it actually 2 years ago, that really bad freeze, it actually got down to like, it was like below zero for a brief moment. But for us, that was like fucking horrific. Oh my god, the end of the world, because the infrastructure was all fucked. I mean, I grew up in the cold. I know what it's like. But for the region, it was bad. But that's like a once in a fucking 100-year type thing. It doesn't happen that often, and it's not. It's like silly that it's even that bad. Like, we go through fucking ridiculous summers every fucking year that would kill most people, but we just shrug it off like nothing, But and everybody's like, "Oh, what about tornadoes? Texas, Southeast Texas, tornadoes? Shit! If you see an F2, it's a big one." Now you get up to Oklahoma, then you can talk.
Yeah. Well, here we had that like 3 or 4 or 5 days where the lows at night were between, I want to say 10 and 25, and it never really was getting above freezing during the day. We're in Washington.
This year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was like, this is to be expected because you're in Washington.
I think 7 was the lowest we got out. I think 7 was the lowest we got out that I knew of.
Well, sure. People's pipes were bursting because apparently all these people did bathroom remodels and didn't insulate their fucking walls. Like,
and most of the shit's not insulated down here at all. And Brian was asking that too. He's like, dude, why? He goes, I grew up in Minnesota where shit gets way colder all the time. Why are people all over Texas having busted pipes and all kinds of shit? I'm like, because their houses aren't insulated where the fucking they all have electric heat, and if they have a power outage, they have no backup. I'm like, everybody
underneath, and they're not insulated in any way.
You've got propane. I'm like, if you've got propane, if you've got a wood heater, you plan for, I'm gonna die every winter if it gets cold in this house and the power's out, and I only have electric heat. You don't just have electric heat up north. It doesn't happen because you're stupid. No. Down here, there's no reason for every fucking maybe 10 years we might have a kind of a chilly winter, and you may need to actually consider that the power might be out when you need to heat the house so the pipes.
And it's chilly for like a week or two.
Really a week, yeah.
Right.
People don't have backups here either. It's kind of crazy. I'm like, well, my heat is that I'll run a generator, and that's fine because I have gas heat with the electric fan, the fan. Right. Like,
I'm weird because growing up north, if I built a house, I would probably put in like 6-foot footers on a foundation. I would probably do northern shit. I would probably insulate it to actually handle a cold winter. I would insulate my pipes. I would have my supply lines buried. I would do that shit, and people would think I'm insane for spending the money to do it. But I'd be like, look, this is just that to me. That just seems right. But I get
it just makes sense. But it's not required by code.
But I get why
pay the extra to do it.
Why would you spend $25,000-$30,000 extra to fucking winterize your shit when you have a winter every fucking 30 years that might actually have an effect on your shit? I get it. I know why nobody does it. You know, if it was my own shit,
power
to do it, I would do it. Yep, looks like it. The AI got her. Yep, there it is. Well, see if it was an earthquake.
I'm trying to get access to ChatGPT through command line on my computer. I've got a guy helping me out here. It still won't send me a fucking email. That's stupid shit.
What the hell?
Dude, I'm so fucking annoyed with it.
Like I logged in on my phone, but I did, like I said, I cheated and I just did the Gmail type thing, so that was easy.
Yeah, that wouldn't work for me either because I wasn't giving my phone.
Are you using like a private email address or some shit like that?
No, I was going to use my email that everything's gone to forever, just because I know it's already zucked.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say I didn't know if it was like your own domain type thing, and that's why it's a little bit of a slow type thing. Or
no, it's a Gmail.
You would think that would show up real quick. That's weird. Sometimes Gmail has different folders other than spam.
Yeah, I checked all of them.
Maybe try like a search for like OpenAI and see if
I did that too. Yeah, nothing came up. It's just literally not sending me the email, so I'm trying it through command line.
Well, what the hell? Yeah, I haven't even dicked with it on the computer at all, and I mean to, because I'm sure it's way more usable and powerful. Like I know, because that was mine. I was like having it try to like do a writing project, and I'm like, all right, really quick figured out because of just length limits for copy and pasting. I'm like, I'm gonna have to do this by chapters, which means I ain't doing it on my fucking phone while I'm sitting there taking a shit in the morning.
Yeah, I just can't stand typing that much on my phone either.
Well, and that's the thing. Yeah, I agree too. I agree because I'll spend half the time recorrecting the crap that I do type on my phone. If you read half the shit that I actually type out, you see why half the time I just give up. I get the fucking fat thumbs, and it just
Yeah. Whenever I'm doing eBay listings, I'll write all the listings on my computer and then switch to phone to take the pictures and then upload the listing.
Right. Well, so many people have
on my phone.
They like to do the whole voice to text thing, and for me, that just never seems to work out. There's
my mom does that, and it's literally just as bad as when she's typing.
Right. Or, I mean, the words may come out right, but they're the wrong words, and then I have to go back and edit my shit anyway, so I spend as much time fixing it as I did. I may as well have typed it wrong.
Yeah, if I'm going to do anything voice, I'm just going to send a voice message. It's just easier. I don't think I've ever done a voice to text one time.
I was like, should I do voice to text to the AI and have it for me and then just copy paste? Would that be better? Would that actually work better? I don't know yet. I haven't played with it.
It might be. There's a good chance.
I don't know. Could be interesting to experiment with. Oh shit.
Dude, it's so nice. It's completely off topic, but it's so nice how helpful and understanding and nice people are whenever you're trying to install any of your thing and you get a nerd to help you. I don't have the patience for this. I've never had a bad nerd. I'm always like, all right, I tried that and I got this error, and they're like, try this. And I'm like, all right, that's working. Check back in 5 minutes.
You can actually talk to them in person, and it's almost like, I mean, because as a nerd, when you get on that topic that they're obsessed with and they're doing their thing, and somebody actually is like, hey, look, I've got a problem. For one, you value the feedback because now I have an interaction with that, and also it's like, hey, look, a real person, talk to me.
That's fair. Sweet. Yeah, I don't really care for talking to people, so I don't get that same urge.
Well, there's that, but at the same time, it's when it's a thing that you're passionate about and somebody's interested in that topic and they're asking you actual questions, it's different.
That is different. That is completely different. That's true.
It's like some of the guys that I like, some of the Albi dev guys. When I was figuring out the itty bitty tip shit, I was working with one guy like a ton. Like back and forth, sending him some shit. I helped him like do a lot of the shit on their WordPress program, just the plugin to like flesh it out. I'm like, this isn't working for me. This isn't working for me. And he's like, this is super valuable because I'm getting actual real time feedback, and he was helping me out with my shit too and willing to do it because we're talking the same language and we're talking about the same shit. But at the same, you send in like a customer support thing to somebody and you get this canned response. Get this run around, you may or not get your shit answered, but you talk to somebody directly who's involved with the project, man, shit gets done.
Yeah, for sure.
It's sort of like Jack was talking about the fountain thing today too, like how everybody, like developers live in a whole different fucking world sometimes, and they're not speaking the same language as everybody else. But like when I'm really hardcore trying to program some shit or build a project, that's why I'm always asking other people, like, check the shit out. Let me know what you think. Give me some ideas here. And like, I don't want to keep bugging you, but I need somebody doesn't have their head in this script right now and hasn't been staring at it for the last 97 fucking hours to see what the hell's going on. Because I know I'm missing shit. But it's really easy to get that tunnel vision. And I'm trying to fix this one problem, but you don't realize the whole user experience is fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got to have that balance, that interaction, and if it's not there, you're not going to succeed in whatever the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, 100%.
And I have to sit back and wonder how else does that relate in life outside of development, because I've seen it in that sector, but I'm like, okay, so how prevalent is this in other aspects of life that we just don't recognize?
Right. I mean, I know just another work example is the same thing with engineers and drafters or engineers and mechanics, stuff like that. Because clearly with like engine-based setup, no engineer talks to any mechanic ever, obviously.
Or if they do, they hate each other. They cannot stand
or if they do, they just piss on the guy afterward.
Yeah, exactly. I have an engineering degree. It used to be that tech that had to go out and do installs and maintenance on shit and read the engineers' bullshit that they wrote out and went like, dude, this is the most retarded fucking way to handle this ever.
Yep.
But at the same time, I've engineered shit. And I know when you write that shit up, I mean, practice, in the actual practice in the real world, that feedback, you're going to find out what you put down doesn't always work because you do it in a vacuum. You built the correct parameters and you created the environment that's going to work in properly. And it's not always being put into practice in that environment or in the ways you expect. You can't predict the real world. You have not embraced the chaos. Embrace the chaos.
That's true. We got a new guest.
All the pets.
Yeah,
they all
Goober.
So there's an additional 3 eyes in the broadcast now.
Yep. Well, one's looking away.
Well, yeah, for now.
Hey, buddy.
If I was the cat, I would keep my eye on the dog too. And I didn't even mean to make that. It just happened.
They're good friends.
Good.
Yep. Pringle really likes to clean the dog's ears, which is really helpful.
Pringle. Nice.
And the dogs tolerate Pringle.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
he's gotten a lot sweeter since I brought him a lady cat from the mean streets of downtown Columbia. They're
And
good friends.
Sort of just
She's
chill
milling
them
him out a lot.
Yeah, bring a lady home, and it usually tends to calm everyone down.
Yep, that's what did it. Because he was like bouncing off the walls every single day before she got here, and he's fixed. He is a boy without nuts, but
still, fixed or
he
not, those
still
bitches
likes
are
having a lady around.
Well, see, what happened is she immediately wrote him like a honey-do list, and so now he's just too busy to get in the shit.
That could be it. He still tries to give her the business when she's in heat. Nothing happens, obviously, but he tries.
He was probably fixed a little bit late in life, so he still had that hormone development, but it's not there. Surprise, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a few that have been like that, and it's like you wait long enough, they're still going to try. Not doing anything.
He does.
Try.
He does try. The other boy cat does not try, but he's also afraid of everything and everybody, so it's not really surprising.
Yeah, I mean that happens with men too, like humans.
Yeah, the joke I've always made with the other cat is like, something about being abducted at a young age because he was a stray kitten that just lived at the apartment complex that we lived at before we bought this house.
Yeah,
and I lured him into our apartment one day, and then he was our cat from that day forward. And so I've just written everything that's wrong with him off to the trauma of being abducted as a child.
Yeah. Well, the one there's one cat at home that I could literally do anything with. I could pick him up, put him on my head like a fucking hat. He'll lay there just literally anything. Everything is a toy. He sees I have a knife, a baseball bat, anything like that. He wants to play with it. It doesn't matter. This is the cat that wants you to play drums on his head or whatnot. It's just completely different. But we always call it's a Stockholm syndrome cat.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's exactly what I was thinking.
Where's one of those bottle babies? Like literally, mom was hit by a car, had to be bottle fed. This thing thinks it's a tiny person. Has no idea what it's like to be a cat. Is spoiled as shit. Gets something off your plate all the time because he's that one. But it has to be cut into the small pieces because he won't eat it off the fork. Doesn't know how to do it.
Yep, gotta be tiny pieces.
Survive in the wild. You were such a fucking spoiled baby, but anything.
No. One of our cats will not touch a foot outside. The people we got her from were you don't have to worry about her ever trying to run away because she's such a fucking priss. She will not touch outside.
Yep. It's not.
But yeah, it is crazy. Pets are really wild with Stockholm syndrome. I was just thinking about that before you said it. You abduct this animal and force it into your house, and then just give it enough affection over time that they're like, all right, cool, this kind of rocks.
Sweet. I mean, I may be held captive here, but it could be a lot fucking worse.
Yeah. You're the one picking up my shit, motherfucker.
Right. Well, and then half of it is you go, do they have Stockholm syndrome? Or do they really have me trained? Because let's be honest, I clean up this thing's shit. I feed it. Yeah. It shows up when it decides that it's cold and it wants to crawl up and get some body warmth from me. It does. Mm-hmm. When it doesn't want to, we let it do its own thing. It comes and goes and makes its own choices.
All right, I'll take this a step further.
Am I really keeping this thing captive, or am I its slave? I don't know.
It's a good question. I'll take it a step further. If you adopt a child,
I wonder if it's called.
Is that Stockholm syndrome?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I guess
we're asking the hard-hitting questions over here.
Right? I'm gonna say. Well, man, we were talking about this when we were going down the AI discussion the other day too, about what is learning, what is emotion, our emotions learn, and things like that. And I was like, people get really mad when I draw those parallels between learning for animals versus humans. People will talk about dogs or anything really, but dogs is the one everybody comes back to with your dog doesn't really know its name or the commands that you give it. It just knows that when you say those words, it associates it with certain things because they happen every time, and it knows how to respond appropriately. And I was like, well, you just fucking described human language children learn, because we learn to associate certain sounds that are said to us with certain objects and certain things, and we have, based on how it's portrayed and the tone that it's portrayed in, We learn how to respond to it. I'm like, that's exactly how language works. And if you were to learn a new language and you were immersed in a culture, you'd learn it the same way as that dog who supposedly doesn't understand. Yep. So I don't understand how you can say that a dog doesn't understand. They may not have the vocabulary we can. They may not be able to vocalize the way we can. But the fact that dog can understand what you say and you can't understand what it says more about you than the other way around.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so it's an interesting type thing. But I was like, so when it comes to the whole AI thing, you know, we were kind of tying it back to that was, how do we know? How do we define learning? How do we define reason and thinking and individuality? I don't know. And unless we actually have a way to actually define that as a uniquely human thing, are we sure that it's not really? What is sentience? I don't know. Is it something that thinks for itself? Is it something that learns and improves itself based on by inputs and feedback? Because that's a really loose definition.
That is a really loose definition.
I don't know, you know. But these are questions we've never been challenged enough to really ask.
That's true.
It's also really entertaining when you start looking at these deep questions and these ideas, and people they're afraid and they're challenged because we're not used to, as humans, especially in modern days, ever having to consider the idea that there might be something out there that could be more potentially intelligent than us.
Mm-hmm. Even it's just the NPC training. It's literally that NPC meme where it's smiling, and then you give it some input it doesn't like, and it's
exactly. But it's a scary little thought. So it challenges people's egos a little bit, and then when people start going down that philosophical rabbit hole, usually people immediately kind of go into denial about it, you know, which is an average response. But all of the arguments against it or for it or talking about it always seem to immediately become the same arguments that are made for or against a deity. That's weird. Weird that we start talking about AIs and it always drifts to what is a god? Does it exist? You start talking about things that maybe are all powerful and can learn from themselves and know more than us, and it starts making us question our humanity in the same way we would as we're talking about religion. And it's just the third time this week the AI discussion has morphed into a religion discussion and comparing the two. And I was like, that's a weird correlation that we as humans are so like threatened in our egos by something that could be as intelligent or more than us and able to learn and do its own thing, that we look at it as something that might be us or more than us, and it threatens what we are as people. It's like a psychological bizarre thing. I'm like, I'm here for this discussion, but why is this a recurring theme? I don't know. I think that's something I've kind of just been paying attention to. Like, I want to see what rabbit holes that goes down to. I'm not sitting back going, AI is God. We're all in a simulation. But it's entertaining fucking shit to look into. It's fun little philosophical rabbit holes to dive down with the right people, especially.
Yeah, I imagine it would be.
It's if nothing else, it's a good way to burn time. So
there's a dog butt.
Dog butts.
Yeah, there was a dog butt. Butthole pointed right at the camera for a while. Goob doesn't have a good stage presence.
Come here, bud. Come here. Well, you know, there's not much you really can do. How much really can you expect from a dog's ass? You know, I mean, it's not really fair to judge it.
That is not a question I want to know the answer to. That's a real awkward question. How much can you expect from a dog's ass? That sounds like the question of a dog raper.
Well, I don't know. I guess that would be what's the standard we're setting? Because if we go on meme standards, then the dog's ass needs to literally look like, you know, a representation of Jesus.
But I guess somewhere like sexual.
We'd have to like judge waffles by the same standard, I suppose. You know.
Good grief.
Oh shit.
I'm slowly installing dependencies.
I'm feeling like I ought to wrap it up and get myself moving home at some point here too, because it's getting on. It's a little bit early still too, but I got to make a stop on the way home, so I think I'm gonna call it, dude.
Yeah, we can wrap it up here. Dogs are getting
take a piss too, and I really don't want to do that on air, so
we just hear the bottle filling up.
Yeah, I mean, it may have happened a time or two. I usually mute the mic if I've got to do it.
You just sitting there.
All right, man. I'm gonna roll out of here. We'll holler at you later.
Sounds good. I'll end it here. Peace.